Hello, welcome back to Aetheral Space 3.41. As Doctor Strange says in the film Avengers Infinity War, we're in the end game now.
Are we?
Of this arc.
I want to see if Tan will get to 50 or not.
I do not intend to. We might go just above 50, but I don't intend to. Did you hear me change my mind midway through that sentence?
If it goes above 50, it'll be more than double the length of the past two arcs combined. It's already more than both of them combined, but imagine that more than double. How insane is that? Well, hold on. How many arcs were in one again? Because 2 was only like 10 or 11, right?
Yeah, I think it was like 19 in the first one.
19 plus 10, so 20. So it has to get to 58 to be more than double.
I think there was more than 10 in the second one anyway, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, so maybe it's like 60. Never mind.
Yeah.
Probably won't get to that point, but I thought that would be funny. Anyway, last time, Dragon and them were like, they realized all the information on Talton was being deleted because the sponsor war is going to blow up the planet, and also the Fifth Dead decided to go sicko mode and kill the security guard, implying that the Fifth Dead is also going to kill everybody at the party, I think.
Yeah, he's going sicko.
Alright, anything else? Oh, and Ruth is sad, but Ruth is breaking out.
Yeah, and apparently Bruno and Serena apparently are running around free.
I'm hoping Ruth is the one that kills the citizen, then she regains her confidence. And then we start seeing happy, confident Ruth, because I just want to protect her smile. Is that so wrong?
I feel like pure shit, just want Ruth back.
I feel like pure shit, just want cheeseburger Ruth back. Oh, God. Okay. Alden Petrio put his script away as soon as the message confirmed his work was done. The back door he'd been given into... Oh, I didn't make my joke after last episode, you bastard. You didn't remind me. Now I have to fucking do it after this one. You better remind me. The back door he'd been given in the Talden surveillance systems had finally served its purpose. The virus had been uploaded, and the network scrubbed. His client, the Bull, would have no reason for complaint. He wasn't entirely sure of what was about to happen, and hopefully nobody else would be either. Alden leaned in towards the front seat of the taxi. "Abrianda Spaceport, if you please," he said, voice cold. Abrianda Spaceport, if you please, he said, voice cold, speaking up to be heard over the rain impacting against the windows. The taxi zoomed off, ascending over the skyline. Alden Petrio didn't know how things would turn out, but he'd be interested in finding out from a safe distance. That was the guy that also, like, quote-unquote, killed Marie, right?
Yeah, he was the information broker.
They were trying to... Yeah... Now he's deleting the information. What a powerful virus he has. What kind of virus can do that kind of damage?
It was expensive. It was provided by the sponsor of war.
Do they have no cybersecurity?
It was just too strong.
What was the vulnerability on Talon's network? You think if you have a network that spans the entire planet that you would harden it really well against attack.
They had a back door, you see.
Of course. Skipper suppressed a yawn as the gala went on. He'd never been the high society kind of type, not even in the bad old days. But he honestly couldn't... See, this is the kind of thing that like people are going to use to like Ted Kaczynski and Aetheral Space World. They're like, this is why we can't have our entire planet on one internet, guys. It doesn't work. Look what happened to Talon. Now they're dead. Skipper suppressed a yawn as the gala went on. He'd never been the high society kind of type, not even in the bad old days. But he honestly couldn't remember these things being so boring. "How are you? How's your business? Mine's doing fine, actually. We're a blah blah %. Oh, how marvelous. My shows, they're Edgar Verena. Actually, very rare. Oh, you don't say. I simply adore caviar. Blah blah blah." It felt as if he'd got his dosage of boring conversation for the entire year. Weren't parties supposed to be a good time? Maybe. Also, how are years measured in Aetheral Space World where they're in, like, different galaxies and solar systems, so surely not every planet's 365, yeah?
Yeah,
how do they,
not.
keep track of...
So there's usually
Do they just use that anyway?
There's usually a dual calendar system, like one for your planet and one for like the government at large.
Okay, that makes sense. Weren't parties supposed to be a good time? Maybe not when they doubled as memorials, sure, but Skipper hadn't heard one mention of the dead during his time here, leaning against the wall. He hadn't seen his giant friend for a while either. Presumably, the Fifth Dead was being kept out of sight. His huge size didn't do much to make him discreet. A sound cut through the babble, a spoon tapping against a glass. Dink, dink, dink. Steadily, the overpowering sounds of conversation faded away to a constant mumble. Skipper folded his arm. Prosthetic arm. Looked like the king was going to address his kingdom. President Chale, the spoon wielder himself, got up from his table with a cheeky grin, the tail of a shrimp still sticking out of the corner of his mouth. Laughter ran through the crowd as he stumbled on his way to the stage, but it wasn't a mocking kind of laughter. This was how Chale worked the crowd, like a clown. "Hell yeah!" Chale said, climbing up to the stage. He swallowed the shrimp. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Good to see you, everyone. It's so good to see you. Hey, you, nice one. That last remark was accompanied by a point towards a seemingly random member of the crowd. Amusement danced in the eyes of the onlookers, save for a table just slightly off to the side of the stage. 3 people sat there, an old man, a young man, and a middle-aged woman, all fairly nondescript. Skipper smirked. These people thought they were slick, but he knew a bigwig when he spotted one. "You know," Chale went on, holographic microphone hovering over his mouth, voice echoing throughout the chamber. When I first got elected, I got up on this stage just like I'm doing right now. Well," he patted his stomach, "maybe a little bit less heavy, but who's tracking those sorts of things, apart from my personal trainer?" Another wave of chuckles, just funny enough to make laughter acceptable, but not funny enough to be funny. The immortal comedy of politicians. But hey, seriously. Chale lowered his voice slightly. It's been great. 10 fantastic years. I mean, who could have guessed? Wow. This isn't about me, though. Skipper sighed. This was a memorial, after all. Like everything else, this was about the dead. "It's about you guys," Chale said, pointing fingers swinging through the crowd. I sometimes think that in these modern times, we've got these days, we forget what heroism looks like. It's not just about, guys jumping in front of bullets. I mean, that's heroic, sure, but all you need to do is a pair of good legs. Another light chuckle. What heroism is, real heroism, Chale jabbed his finger up into the air to punctuate his point. It's keeping the lights on. It's keeping the water running. It's keeping guys, and ladies of course, like you and me in work. It's providing. That's not something just anyone can do. Seeing him here, working the crowd, Skipper could see how Chale got elected. There was the shadow of a performer behind him, like a musician maybe, hyping up his fans at a concert. That sort of showmanship had appeal. Chale thumped his chest dramatically with one hand. That's why I'm excited to welcome my boy Santa Tanos! Get up here, man! An elderly man, hunched over slightly, got up from the slightly removed table. A lot of slightlies.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't look too pleased at being addressed as Chale's boy, but he hobbled to the stage all the same, watchful eyes glaring over the crowd. Which one's Santa Tanos? That's one of the sponsors, right?
That's the industry.
Once he reached the stage's foot, he flicked a hand, and a holographic microphone appeared over his mouth as well. This is it, Skipper thought. This was definitely the man behind that silver horse. The arrogance in his eyes was the same as that in the hologram's voice. Wow, what a fucking... I love those anime. I love those anime leaps in knowledge where it's like the way he wrinkles his head. That's the wrinkle of someone who's been through 20 years of war. It's just, I fucking love that. It's honestly I'm not even memeing. That's one of my favorite tropes because it's so over the top and funny. Or the idea of sensing a presence from 15 miles away. It's just the air, the change. Is this his killing intent? If the citizen wanted to take out a sponsor, this was his best chance. The old man, Titanos, sniffed, and with that quiet noise, the murmuring through the crowd was reduced to nothing. Chale invited merriment, but this man clearly invited fear. Wait, does that mean the public does know the sponsors' identities?
These are the 1%ers. So they have a vague idea, this guy is more important.
This guy, he fucks. Matters here on Talden have been fraught as of late, Titanos said. He spoke like this is a board meeting rather than a party, cold and dry. This has resulted in considerable sacrifices on the parts of all involved. I apologize sincerely for the delay in a proper response. Chale cleared his throat, half pulling a few sheets of paper from inside his suit jacket. He said, I've still got a few more pages? Titanos' iron gaze somehow turned harsher. For a moment, it felt as if the sheer intensity of it would reduce Chale to a blast shadow. I am speaking, it said, deadly quiet. Chale rustled the papers, grinning sheepishly. It's just a couple of pages. Nervous glance. What the fuck? Well, here's the thing. He invited the guy on, so why is he now like, wait, let me finish my material? Nervous glances ran through the crowd. This sort of tension was something that was supposed to stay behind the scenes. This wasn't for their eyes. Titanos closed his eyes, sighed. Well, he said, in a voice that suggested it was not very well. Say your piece, but make it quick. Okay, yes! Grinned Chael, almost bouncing up and down like an excited child as he stepped back up to the head of the stage. It's just, I've got kind of a question for everyone. You too, actually, sir. He glanced back at Titanos for that last part. The old man's brow furrowed. A question? Yeah. How dare you? The silence of the crowd remained, and the temperature seemed to drop substantially. A heavy tension settled over the room. Skipper looked at Chael's face. That was the face of a man committing suicide. I beg your pardon, Thanos hissed, somehow making the words seem like a curse from the depths of hell. Chael shuffled on the spot, that easy grin still on his face, as if this was all still part of the script. It's a simple enough question. How dare you? What do you think you're doing? Here, right now. Before Titanos could answer, Chael swung back to face the crowd. It's the same with all of you, too. How dare you? He ignored the offended gasps from high society as he went on. What?
Oh, sorry, you cut out for a minute there. Sorry, that's fine.
As he went on, growing more animated as he paced back and forth on the stage. I mean, look at you! Look at yourselves! Look at yourselves sitting there and eating there like you're supposed to be people, when you're not really, are you? You're parasites! You're drinking our blood, right? Is Zhao gonna be like, my hero was real? He came swinging? Titanos tapped a button on his watch, presumably to mute Chael's mic, but nothing happened. The president's breakdown went on uninterrupted. All of you, he said. Why are you here? You're here to drink, to eat, to party? It's disgusting. You're all disgusting. Down there. He jabbed a finger down towards the ground. You've got people being eaten alive by this fucking city. And out there, you've got the rampages of the citizen, who is me, by the way, and none of... Oh! Same energy as I'm the Armored Titan and he's the Colossal Titan. Zhao was all like, oh man, this guy doesn't care. He did care. Oh my god. What? He doesn't have metal spikes out of him, though. Oh. What the fuck? Based! So long. Based in This is Major Tom energy. Oh my god. By the way, I'm the citizen. Who is me, by the way, and none of you even care. I mean, people have died. They're dying right now. Skipper blinked. Wait, what did Chael just say? Titanos turned a deathly pale behind the president. What did you? He mumbled. That's not... What happened took only a few seconds, but felt like so much longer. Chael, smiling, turned around to face Titanos. He leaned in, putting a friendly hand on the older man's shoulder. A spark of gray aether ran along his arm as his eyes glowed an eerie red. An obvious aether tick. Skipper raised his hand, his finger to fire towards the stage, so painfully slow. The people in the crowd began to flee, chairs toppling to the floor as they scrambled to their feet, prey sensing the invisible presence of a predator. I told you, didn't I? Chael said to Thanos, his skin visibly starting to shift to a shade of metallic gray. That I'd snap the chains of this society. I'll say it again, you old fuck. I'm the citizen. Thanos' eyes wide, opened his mouth to say something, but found himself unable, as he'd been reduced to a fine red mist. Skipper threw himself to the ground as a hail of silver blades flew through the air, an omnidirectional attack originating from Chael's body. Titanos, who'd been standing next to the president, had been utterly annihilated, and those closest to the stage hadn't gotten off much better. That means he was hosting the gala for the people he killed. Holy fuck. Chael still stood in the center of the stage, but his appearance couldn't have been any more different. The tuxedo he'd been wearing had been shredded by the blades that had erupted from his skin. As he observed the carnage he'd wrought, he looked like nothing less than a knight in dark armor. His face was left exposed, however, his red eyes flicking through the crowd. They settled on the two remaining members of the table that Titanos had come from, the other sponsors. Wordlessly, Chael raised a metal-coated hand. The middle-aged woman rose from the table in a panic, hands raised in front of her. "Wait!" she cried, hiding behind her hands as if they could deflect the attack. "Ah, shit," Skipper thought. "Looks like I'm gonna be a repeat offender." Oh, that's so funny! Chael was all nervous, but if Skipper had killed him, he would have got the citizen. Oh, man. Wow, that's funny. That's so fucking funny. Aetheral Space is gonna hit so hard on the reread. "I thought you were different, Chael," said Zhao, the reader. Foo, foo, foo. He lifted his finger again and fired off a heartbeat shotgun at yet another president of Talden. The shot rang through the room, cracking the tables it passed over, and struck Chael head-on, only for him to fizzle away and vanish like a burnt-out light bulb. A second later, the woman was run through by a flying blade the size of a lamppost, the force of its flight impaling her against the wall. A shower of smaller blades reduced her younger companion to a pile of unidentifiable meat. So that's all the sponsors now, right? They're all dead except for War? Yeah. Skipper gritted his teeth. What the hell was going on? He was sure he'd hit Chael. He couldn't have missed, not at this kind of distance. Oh, I love this too, this anime moment of like the... What happened? It connected, did it not? And then like the mists start creeping in, the Zawas. Was it some kind of counter ability? No, Chael had been fully devoted to the attack. He wouldn't have had time to react at the speed of sound. He turned his head. A second Chael, the one who'd actually fired the attack, was standing on the edge of the stage, looking impassively at what remained of the sponsors. Excuse me. "And so it goes," the citizen said softly. A pit opened in Skipper's stomach. "The first Chael was an illusion?" The sounds of screaming filled the air as the panicked crowd trampled over each other in their efforts to get to the door, climbing over the corpses of those who died or been injured in the original attack. Chael watched them retreat out into the hallways, expressionless as the room emptied. Before long, it was just him and Skipper. Skipper kept his finger trained on the citizen, keeping his distance. He'd seen that Chael could attack from range. He'd skewered that woman from across the room, a much further distance from the omnidirectional move he'd used to annihilate Titanos. Wait, how did the illusion use a microphone?
Well, it wasn't. When the illusion kicked in, it's a bit ambiguous there, so it was maybe after the speech.
After image illusion. Fucking Naruto log swap. Chael stared at Skipper, his glowing red eyes like malevolent beacons. His own arms stayed down at his sides, but Skipper knew that didn't mean anything. The original attack had fired blades out of his whole body. If he was aiming at you, you'd never know it until you fired.
Oh, until he fired.
Hey, trick! Until he fired. "Hey, trick," Skipper said cautiously, making his way around the back of the room. "Body double?" Chael, I assume, blinked.
Yeah. "It's not my trick, Skipper. It's a mistake to think you've met all my friends. Do you intend to shoot me?"
The lazy demeanor that had defined the president of Talden had vanished completely, replaced by the cold resolve of a man with singular purpose. "Still thinking about it," Skipper said, doing his best to surreptitiously glance around the room as he kept his finger trained on Chael. The illusion was someone else's ability, then? It couldn't be. Were they here? "You managed to pull off a hell of a thing there, pal. President moonlighting as a rebel leader. It's hard to imagine nobody noticing you vanishing. How'd you manage that?" Chael didn't answer. He only continued to stare. "Don't tell me," grinned Skipper. "Your illusionist buddy's been covering for you, right? Acting as a body double while you're out doing your thing. Now that would be a neat trick. Am I right?" I wonder if the illusionist is Zhao, but probably not.
"You're an exceptional man, Skipper," Chael said calmly. "I feel as if we could get along quite well. Why not put that hand down and help me out here?"
"Sorry, pal. I've got folks to look after." How would helping Chael make him not able to look after his crew? Also, you did another Charl.
Oh, fucking Charl. Who the fuck is Charl?
That's his dragon. Chael smiled, but his eyes remained dull and dead.
"I understand you're being threatened. Look."
He gestured towards the corpse pinned against the wall, towards the pile of bloody meat, towards the red mist that was still falling to coat the floor.
"Here are the ones who have threatened you. Are you still afraid of them?"
Skipper clicked his tongue. "Can't risk it. Sorry."
"I see,"
Chael said, closing his eyes, the slightest red glow still visible from underneath his eyelids.
Die, then!
Skipper threw himself to the ground as countless blades were fired out of Chael's body, each one barely passing over his head. This attack was more powerful than the first. The room's walls were reduced to splintered messes, and any remnants of the sponsors' corpses were given their final indignities.
The work is not yet done, Skipper!
Charles called out. His voice was hollow now, metallic. It sounded like he was wearing a helmet.
Someone else will take their place, so long as there's a place to take.
Skipper rolled over onto his back, keeping his finger ready to point as he looked up at the ceiling. He couldn't hear Chael moving, so the man was still on the stage. Skipper couldn't afford to move then, or the citizen would just use that omnidirectional attack again. "If your big plan is just to kill every asshole who pops up, buddy," Skipper called out, "they're gonna get real tired real fast." There was no reply, only a tingle as he was struck by an aether ping originating from the stage, Chael walking down on his position. Time to move then. He had absolutely no faith that the wooden tables he was hiding behind would be able to defend against one of Chael's spears. Being careful not to expose himself, Skipper moves into a crouching position, ready to start running the moment the need arose.
"Don't worry," said the citizen, almost casually. "I have a way to solve that problem permanently. I really am lazy, you know."
There was the whistling of metal on the wind. Skipper leapt out of cover seconds before a shower of tiny metal blades, each the size of a human hand, shredded the table he'd been hiding behind. He rolled to a halt several meters away and, not wasting a second, pointed his flat palm towards Chael. Chael was doing much the same, his arm pointing in Skipper's direction, blades already protruding ominously from between the gaps in his armor. Hand to hand, sword to sword, will to will. Skipper grinned uneasily. "Let's dance then, pal. Heartbeat shotgun." Woo! Good shit. That was good. I felt good about that.
I was really happy with your reactions to that reveal.
Yeah, that was a good fucking reveal. That was Major Tom energy. Because you know what? I really did think it was going to be Zhao, but it was so much cooler that Zhao was like, "I can't believe we thought you'd make a difference," meanwhile making a difference. Pretty based in Chael. I'm Chael pilled now. On the character rankings, Chael is like just below Musashi for me.
The bamboozle.
It's so funny too, because like the citizen was introduced as like this cruel character that just like casually killed a guy for not working for him, but then he's also like the shitlord president. Oh, that's so good. It's those things that I can't tell if Chael's either truly a wildcard character or if you like thought of that twist in the last 5 chapters.
No, that was tell. From the start of the arc.
Damn, that's pretty good. Fucking nice. All right, I'm so like enraptured that I'm trying to think of a good world building question. Fuck up. World building question. Let me think. Oh, I know. What do people do for... this is kind of related to the last one with fads, but what do you think people do for entertainment? Aside from, like, you know, TV and movies and stuff. Like, what's a cool modern entertainment? Maybe, like, a designer drug or a special kind of way to play video games, or maybe it's, like, a brand new hobby we wouldn't even think of because we don't have the tech.
The smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision. Aether smoking, like, see how much aether you can snort, someone else's aether.
Aether's not common enough for that to be a common recreational thing, but I can imagine some people doing it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I love the feel of your aether. Do you think there's people who are sexually attracted to certain aethers? Because they have, like, their own colors and auras and stuff, right? Do you think people, like, I really love people with blue aether? I'm aethersexual. I only date aether users. Sorry, sweaty. It's like the old stereotype of, like, I only date the guys on the football team. It's like, I only date aether users, so sorry, sweaty. That's why Dragon learned aether. Because some girl rejected him in middle school, and he's like, fuck, I gotta learn this now. My headcanon. I did Dragon pick up Aether just because he kind of seemed like he edge. Like because and that's a similar vein. I get he says it's a stereotype because like Kajshins are the smart people, but why not take up hacking? It would be easy for him to learn and is a good edge in a society where apparently planet-wide networks have easy back doors. You should pick up hacking. Dragon is a script kitty.
He's not good at computer.
This is so sad.
I could just like, socially hack you.
He's like, I can't open... He's like the guy that shames people for having smartphones because he doesn't know how to use one. He's like, wow, you use Apple, poser. He's like
All
using a
Ethan
fucking
users
BlackBerry.
know how to do these days is use smartphone, tell them, pose a citizen and lie.
Oh, there's a good world building question. What do you think memes look like in Aetheral space? Do you think they're still in their like I has cheeseburger and like very literal phase? Do you think it's like advanced surrealist memes that like some people try to post nowadays, or do you think it's like similar to our meme culture? Or like, give me an example of a funny Aetheral space universe meme.
No?
No, for the audience, unless you have one in mind.
No, I don't. No, I was panicked. I was worried.
I wonder how the meme culture changes between planets, or even like not kingdoms. What's the word? Empires, because there's like the UAP and the supremacy.
Yeah, it's pretty. Because like Paladin has its own internet, and then so it's sort of.
Because I can imagine the supremacy memes being kind of like smug memes, where it's like either talking about how good you are or making fun of people for being worse than you. Kind of like people who like make fun of stuff for being cringe, right? And then a UAP meme would probably be more like
average UAP fan, average supremacy enjoyer.
And then, like, a UAP meme would probably be, like, when the imposter is sus, or just, like, germaface spamming.
But yeah, supremacy would be very try-hard. It's edgy memes.
Yeah. Yeah, very edgy memes.
Borderline propaganda.
You know, some memes are kind of propaganda, so it fits. Supremacy is just, like, 4chan. Full board. Oh, man. Alright, so I'll leave it at that. Tell me your opinion on Aetheral Space memes. And if you have a meme related to Aetheral Space that is not a meme in the universe, please send it in our fucking Discord. We would love to see it.
Please post something, because I'm so lonely. I'm so alone.
That feeling when I'm always in the Aetheral Space chat and you never answer me.
Send me a question,
That's what it feels like. To be second banana.
Wait, don't
Alright. Well, thank you guys for listening. This was really fun. Let's see where it goes. I mean, Chael pilled. I'm Chael pilled.
Average Skipper fan, average Chael enjoyer.
Average Dragon fan, average Musazi enjoyer. That's me.
Well, thank you for listening and reading, everyone.
Alright, bye!
Bye!